Presented by Listen Headlines, latest world news from trusted sources.
BBC News World. November 12, 1905 America, New York, BBC's Simpson revisits Afghanistan under the Taliban. In 2001, the BBC's World Affairs editor was part of a team which entered the city when the Taliban fell.
World CBS News, com. November 12, 1859 America, New York. Weiwei on writing his family history in new memoir. I kind of feel I can disappear anytime. Chinese contemporary artist and activist Ai Weiwei speaks with Anthony Mason about writing his first memoir, 1,000 Years of Joys and Sorrows, and telling the history of China through his own family's story. They discuss his artistic influences, clashes with the Chinese government, and his family's longtime fight against authoritarianism.
November 12, 1830 America, New York. Analysis. Is Free Joe Biden the answer to Democrats' problems? In the wake of a disastrous 2021 election for Democrats, the man charged with keeping his party in the House majority had a very interesting prescription for how make that a reality. November 12, 1816 America, New York. Meet the teens making the digital world a kinder and gentler place. Deny your kids access to digital life, and you hamstring their social life, especially in a pandemic. You also limit their ability to develop online skills that will help them succeed. November 12, 1815 America, New York. See Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball from I Love Lucy. Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem play sitcom legends Lucille Ball and Daisy Arnaz in the upcoming film, Being the Ricardos. November 12, 1813 America, New York. Exclusive, rare video from Belarus border shows reality on the ground of crisis. CNN's Matthew Chance gives an exclusive view of the situation in Bruzgi, Belarus, on the border with Poland where thousands of people are trapped and stopped from crossing by some 15,000 soldiers.
RT World News. November 12, 1808 America, New York. UK tabloid cheers US hypersonic nukes in Germany, shows nuclear mushroom over Moscow. UK papers are hyping the revival of a Cold War-era US artillery unit in Germany, supposed to be armed with Dark Eagle hypersonic missiles that will be able to reach Moscow in mere minutes, once they are developed.
Wall Street Journal World News. November 12, 1806 America, New York. Houthi rebels in Yemen occupy U.S. Embassy compound, take hostages. The majority of U.S.-employed Yemeni security personnel taken hostage in the capital Sana'a earlier this week have been freed, U.S. officials said.
Mirror World News. November 12, 1758 America, New York. Cyclist who hit girl, 5, on icy path sues her dad for posting a video of it. In the video, which has now been seen hundreds of thousands of times, the 5-year-old girl is seen walking by her mother's side on the snow-covered path as the cyclist approaches them from behind.
November 12, 1755 America, New York. Opinion. Kamala Harris's Paris trip puts a band-aid on deteriorating U.S.-France relations. Kamala Harris is a hit in Paris.
New York Times World News. November 12, 1749 America, New York. 2 ivory smugglers captured in international operation, U.S. says. The undercover joint operation by the U.S. and Congolese governments also resulted in the seizure of millions of dollars worth of illegal wildlife plunder. Some of the $3.5 million worth of ivory and rhino horn seized in the operation.
Wall Street Journal World News. November 12, 1742 America, New York. U.S. briefs allies on possible Russian threat toward Ukraine. As Russian troops continue movements near Ukraine border, U.S. urges pressure against Moscow. Kremlin dismisses concerns.
November 12, 1736 America, New York. Britney Spears' conservatorship ends. Live updates. What the scene is like outside the court as Britney Spears' conservatorship ended.
New York Times World News. November 12, 1734 America, New York. Airlines move to curb flow of migrants to Belarus. Some airlines have agreed to stop taking Iraqi, Syrian and Yemeni citizens to Minsk, which the EU hopes will stem the flow of migrants to the bloc's borders. A Turkish Airlines plane taking off from Istanbul in 2019.
November 12, 1734 America, New York. Source. FDA will likely make booster decision without outside advisory committee weighing in. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is unlikely to ask its outside vaccine advisors to weigh in on whether the agency should authorize Pfizer COVID-19 boosters for all adults, a source familiar with the situation told CNN.
New York Times World News. November 12, 1729 America, New York. In France, Kamala Harris asserts herself as a diplomatic asset. The vice president met with President Emmanuel Macron of France, skirting recent U.S.-French tensions, and immersed herself in issues like Libya and cybersecurity. President Emmanuel Macron of France and Vice President Kamala Harris in Paris on Friday.
November 12, 1726 America, New York. Iceland takes aim at Mark Zuckerberg in new tourism video. A tourism ad released by Inspired by Iceland parodies Facebook's announcement of its name change to Meta. November 12, 1725 America, New York. The judge in Kyle Rittenhouse's trial is considering lesser charges. Here's what that means. The judge in the homicide trial of Kyle Rittenhouse met with attorneys Friday morning for a conference on jury instructions, telling Rittenhouse that presenting lesser offenses to the jury lowers the possibility of a second trial but increases the risk of a conviction. November 12, 1722 America, New York. John Gruden sues NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell. Former Raiders coach John Gruden in a lawsuit alleges the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell sought to destroy his career and reputation through a malicious and orchestrated campaign.
Time: November 12, 1721 America, New York. How Nelson Mandela came to work with F.W. de Klerk to end apartheid. In 1991, 2 years after he became president of South Africa, F.W. de Klerk, who died at the age of 85, secretly met with Nelson Mandela at Tunhis, the South African president's residence in Cape Town.
New York Times World News. November 12, 1720 America, New York. In France, Kamala Harris asserts herself as a diplomatic asset. The vice president met with President Emmanuel Macron of France, skirting recent U.S.-French tensions, and immersed herself in issues like Libya and cybersecurity. President Emmanuel Macron of France and Vice President Kamala Harris in Paris on Friday. New York Times World News. November 12, 1720 America, New York. Migrant crisis in Belarus tests Putin's uneasy alliance with Lukashenko. Last year Vladimir V Putin helped save Alexander G. Lukashenko's Belarusian regime. But Russia now has an ever more erratic ally and risks entanglement in a dangerous crisis. President Alexander G.